All right, this is gonna be like a bit of like a ramble, I guess, or just like my thoughts on the game. Um, Figured not really like doing anything. I'm just running laps, and it's kind of boring. So I just kind of had like an idea to just kind of like capture some of my thoughts. Like I don't really, it's not really about like if anyone watches or anything, but it's kind of it would just be cool like maybe later on, it's like a window into what I was thinking at the time and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I've been playing RuneScape since like Halloween 2024. So like October, like the end of October, I think it was. I can actually look here, I think. Yeah, so we started around Halloween, um, October 28th, 2024. I forgot what the name was, but we renamed it to Bumble Blast because it's just like kind of like a meme or whatever that we have. So the way that our group is structured is that one of my good friends is the one that founded it. He's been playing RuneScape on and off since he was a kid. I'm assuming. And then there's two others in the group that are also really close friends that I've played other games with and stuff over the years. But they all grew up with RuneScape, and I didn't. And they tried over the years to kind of like get me into old school. And I even made a main which is on right now, and um, a long time ago, like way prior to this. But I only ever really completed like 30 quests, and sorry, one moment. Yeah, like 30 quests, and I basically like just sat at the sand crabs to get like pretty high combat stats. I think I can look up the account right here. Yeah. So this, 99 attack, strength, didn't finish defense or range. But you can see the KCs. There's like nothing here. I think I tried to learn Saracnus, which it wasn't really like anything to learn. I'm kind of flustered right now. But you can see there's not really much going on. I guess I killed Obor. And then these Grardors, I used to, with one of the friends, he was really trying to get the pet, so basically he gave me some stuff and was trying to get me to learn how to play the game, and um, basically my role is to just like spec, and that's it. And I guess sometimes I spec high enough to get kill credit. I'm not really sure. But yeah, there was really nothing going on this account. This was after the fact that when I started playing on the Iron, and I realized, oh, I can maybe do this AFK to maybe like make some money. But it ended up being like a little bit too, it's not like a lot of effort, but just like too much effort to care like for the amount of money. It's not whatever. So what I do now, just because I am like full on addicted to RuneScape, I'm at my computer all the time, playing all the time. I typically just leave that account in Castle Wars, and it's gotten a lot of crates. I think I've made like maybe 500 mil or something, like entirely AFK, just going upstairs in Castle Wars and stuff while I play on this account. But yeah, that's just like a little bit of my backstory. So while I did play this game prior to the creation of this group, I didn't actually play. Like I wouldn't really consider that playing the game. And also just, from like remembering it, I had a hard time like getting comfortable with this game. Like it sounds dumb, but like the controls, even though they're point and click, and um, the middle mouse uh, for the camera movement, all this stuff took me a long time to adjust to. And I mean that I'm not some crazy good gamer or anything. I'm usually like average or above average in most games I play, but yeah, for sure this game I felt. pretty pretty overwhelmed because I didn't really understand the tick system or like just the movement. Everything was hard for me to adjust to. So like fast forward to the creation of this group, and because those three friends that I was talking about, um, grew up with the game, were familiar with the game, all of that. Um, I thought it was a good idea. I mean, they basically what happened is I was playing another game at the time, called Realm of the Mad God, which I guess some people might be familiar with. And I played that game on and off for a long time, and I was basically banned like falsely, which I know people say all the time, but no, like for real, like I got spoofed or whatever, and I don't know. Regardless, either way, like that account, it just had so much time like synced into it, and this isn't like the first time that I've lost like literally like hundreds to like thousands of hours or whatever on an account on that game. And so when they were, simultaneously while that was going on, basically they were talking about, oh, maybe we can make a group Iron Man and, get into RuneScape and stuff. Like, I think you'd really like RuneScape just because, you seem to like chasing after drops and, leveling up stats and stuff like that. And, I was like, okay, I was keeping like an open mind. And basically the selling point was that, while it is like an Iron Man, and it's gonna be like difficult, there's gonna be you're gonna kind of learn how the game works. Like basically you don't just skip a bunch of steps and you're at this like place and because it's almost like math, jumping to something more complex without like learning the fundamentals. So, it makes it a lot less fun if you don't like build up to it. And everyone has their own like view on that, I guess. But for me, that's I think what was happening like when I was playing on a main, like because I didn't build up to it and I was just skipping right to the content. It was just less fun for me personally. So I think that part of it, how they were selling it to me, is what made me want to play the like an Iron Man. And then the group part was like a bonus because basically it's like okay, and then obviously we've played for a while, so we can get you a nice head start like because we kind of know what to do. And yeah, I was pretty thankful. Like they definitely put me on the right like direction to start with like like getting the fire making for Winter Todd, and I think I got 99 fire making in like the first week of the account or something like that, and all that. And then basically the cool thing was that they weren't like hyper efficient or anything like that. Like they've never really been super good at the I was just under the impression that they were like really good at the game. They did like Inferno and stuff like that, but that's not really the case. I think they've done like some raids and stuff, but that's about it. Um, so, but what was cool is like these weren't like, I mean, are my friends, and the whole goal was just to have fun. So, while I was like, absorbing however much information, like at the start of this game, if you're just starting, especially in Iron, you're like always gonna have the wiki up because even if you have Quest Helper, it's gonna say, oh, you need these items, and then you're just like, okay, well, I can't just go to the GE and spend like 200 coins to buy this die or whatever the hell it is. So then you gotta go on the wiki and then you learn kind of like how to figure out where stuff is in the game. So I would learn like where the item sources are, like if you have to craft them, if you have to get them as a drop, like whatever the easiest way is. And then, you know, as you work your way up, it's just so intense. Like it's actually incredible how dense the game is. Um, and it's so much so that I was like cooked. Like they wanted me to have fun, and I was not having fun doing questing. I was not having fun really doing a lot of stuff in the game. But basically, whenever I did find something that I had fun, I would just do that a lot until I wasn't have until I wanted to try something else out. So for example, like the Winter Todd thing, once they put me on point with that and I got set, I did that until I was 99 and it felt like okay, I'm done with this now, you know? And then um from there, I think I was always into kind of like wood cutting a little bit because it's kind of like the meme, like RuneScape, you just chop the tree or whatever. So even on my main, I think, yeah, I had 99 wood cutting, yeah. So I figured, you know, I'll just do some, I'll chop some magic trees because I'm playing a lot and they're not playing as much. And then basically I can fletch well, I had to do a lot of wood cutting to get up to magic trees, but it really didn't take that long. I was like watching Netflix and stuff while doing that. But yeah, so basically I just chopped tons and tons of magic trees and then fletched them and out the finished products. And for the bowstrings, I really didn't know how to train crafting, and I found out I could just pick flax in Sears Village, and there's like the spinning wheel there and all that. So yeah, I might have actually like from scratch made like 30,000 bowstrings while I was trying to figure out how to level up crafting. But like it was like part of it was I didn't know how to make money. I didn't know how to train skills. I didn't even understand the movement in the game. Like everything just felt so clunky and janky. So when I finally did start finding methods to do things, regardless of how inefficient or how slow it was, to me it was like, okay, I'm making progress. I'm putting a dent in this, and it was awesome because like I knew I could play a lot, and especially because of how low intensity it is, I could like be doing other things while doing that. I mean, it's not intense. A magic tree takes forever, you know. And like looking back, I'd probably never do this again, but that's how we made our first couple millions in the group. And then from there, uh, my friend he showed me about Taverly Dungeon and the Blue Dragons, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. Now instead of like chopping a tree, I'm killing monsters and stuff. And while I'm doing this, I'm watching hours. I'm talking like hundreds and hundreds of hours of RuneScape content to learn like everything that there is in this game. So even though I'm doing things that like are not intense and they don't really teach you how to play the game or anything, not really, like there's no in-depth mechanics with safe spotting a blue dragon. What I was doing while doing that, I'm getting progress made on my account and for my group, getting all that banked prayer XP, and the hides are pretty decent for crafting and alching and stuff, and some of the other drops, whatever, and then good XP like combat XP. That obviously there's better, but that's something at least. While I was like absorbing all this information from all these higher level players, Bodhi's Hardcore Iron Man, Odo Block has all his PvP videos that, especially at the time, were just going way over my head. I had no idea what was happening. No help. The Ed Boys, like just anything you can think of. I was just trying to learn about the game and seeing how other people play and just seeing what's out there because like I was saying earlier, the game is so dense. Not one person like knows everything. There's going to be something that you don't have, or maybe you do know something about it, but it's not as strong like your knowledge of it as something else. So I think that was like really beneficial for me as a new player that didn't grow up with this game to kind of learn what this game is about and um, what I have to look forward to and potentially correct some of the mistakes I'm doing because I was making a lot of mistakes. Like I still probably am making a ton of mistakes. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not trying to be like, oh, I'm at this point now where I'm really good at RuneScape. I'd say I'm probably like an average player at best or something. So yeah, now after all that rambling, we can kind of like you can kind of see in the bottom level already, 97 agility. That's already kind of pretty high, and it's kind of like one of the last skills most people train. So you kind of assume, I've been playing for a bit, and yeah, I'll start showing some of that right now. Um, but I just kind of wanted to give some of the backstory of like how I got to where I am, because I think if I just made a main or just kept playing on my main and my friends and we didn't really make a group or whatever like we did, I would have never fell into the hole that I fell into. Like this shit is becoming a problem and like so much so that that's part of why I'm making this because I think I've hit the point where it's like, all right, I think as much as I love this game, just like anything, you need to have a level of like moderation because I'm getting to the point where it's way too excessive. I'm sure there's it's a better thing to do than some other stuff, but still, it doesn't mean um, it's okay. So I do need to get better at like managing my time and not playing as much. But what can I say? I mean, Jagex made something so addicting. I can't go a day without, uh, playing it at the moment. And in a couple weeks, I am gonna have to be away for a few days, so I won't be playing. But I guarantee you, I'll be thinking about everything I'm gonna do as soon as I get back, because like that's part of why this game is so important to me is that it's not something I'm ever gonna complete, I don't think. There's always gonna be another um challenge to conquer. There's always gonna be another item to get. There's just always gonna be something. And yeah, I think I have to come to terms with the fact that, there's no way I'm ever gonna complete this game. But I can at least do my best at trying. But I gotta like prioritize stuff that's going on in my life right now. I am uh living on my own, going to college, all of that, trying to be an engineer and stuff. So, there's more to life than RuneScape, but sometimes I kind of wish that that wasn't true. So, but yeah, without further ado, we'll get into like what my stats are looking at right now. I've already been kind of rambling a while, so we'll just take a look at where I am right now at the moment. So we're 2356. You can see I I took kind of like a balanced approach when it comes to bossing and skilling. So hold on, let me just alk this really quick. So when it comes to, I'll stop alking for a little bit. Uh, but when it comes to skilling, like if I was to just entirely skill, I'm pretty sure I would have been max a while ago. Cause like at this point I'm like around 20 million XP to max. But like we'll take a look at what's going on here. So Um, yeah, you can see all the stats, but now you can start seeing some of the KCs. So, because I play a lot more than the people in my group, and like I was mentioning earlier, they're my friends and stuff. Um, I mean, there's so much to do. It's not like I really care if they're not playing as much because I can keep myself busy with, a bunch of stuff. And this isn't like we're just gonna play for a couple weeks and we're done. This is like, we'll probably be playing these accounts in 2 years, in 3 years. So like, I'm not really pressed about maybe if they don't have as much free time right now or whatever. As long as they're logging in periodically every now and then, and they are. So like, I don't really have a problem. At first, I was a little bit kind of salty and stuff, but like, I kind of realized how dumb I was being. So yeah. But based off that like philosophy that like I know like I guess that they can't play as much and at the moment I can play a lot and maybe that'll shift in the future. Maybe they can play a lot more than I can play. So in the future. Um because how it is right now, I just I do everything I can to make it so that when they log in, they don't have to do like the boring stuff. Like especially because that's the worst. Like if you don't have that much time you don't want to be like doing boring stuff or like your homework, like basically like the herb runs and the farm runs and all the supplies and stuff. So, there's part of why I'm 99 herb. I've made thousands and thousands and thousands. I might even just show it right now actually because it's actually insane. I've made so many supplies and I just put them in the group. There's more in the group bank. There's more on their accounts. This is just what's on my account right now that I'm going to show. And whenever they need, here, there's my pin. You probably saw it. My bank, this is a whole nother story. I don't want to get into this. We'll talk about this some other time. But, um, yeah, I know. I got to work on it. But you can see the potion storage is worth 200 million, right? There's still just, and I've already given them. Keep in mind, I've already given them so many. Look at that, 4,500 stamps. We got the combats. I have a bunch of shards. I can make more divines. The one thing I'm lacking is Aldarium. I haven't really done a lot of mixology. 800 Armadale brews. I did, that rainbow crab stuff. And yeah, some of this stuff I gotta move this stuff around and organize it a bit better. And then I still have these to turn into energies and then stams and then eventually probably extended stams. And yeah, and then runes. I put a bunch of runes and a bunch of other stuff. And here, my total bank right now it says 1.64 bill, and I have this stuff on. So who knows, like close to like 2 bill. And yeah, but part of it is like you want synapses, you want zenites, you want a bunch of stuff once you start progressing after moons and all that, right? So, I even tried to get them dupes in moons, I think, actually. Let me see. But I quickly realized it's like, oh, maybe that's a good idea for them to do themselves. But yeah, you see, I have 3 tacits. I started getting too many spears, so I was like, eh. Oh shit, and you can see this here. Yeah, so it's been a long time. And that's 273 days. The date is April 14th, 2026. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of hours, obviously. I'm not gonna lie. Definitely not healthy. Whatever, I don't really care. But I'm just kind of rambling about like my journey and how I got here, and I've skipped a lot of stuff because there's just a lot of things. But I think um I think this game really is the best game I've ever played, and part of why I'm recording this is just I wanted to capture this moment, I guess, because you know I've had these feelings before where something feels just so good, like you know what I mean, like the state of a game or whatever. Like these moments, these golden ages, whatever. And in most cases, well, in all of them so far, they've been temporary. So I just wanted to at least this time have it like capture that, yeah, we are at this point. I'm in like my peak RuneScape uh, time, and honestly, it keeps getting better. I keep thinking I can't get more addicted, and then I get more addicted, and I haven't even done anything like crazy yet. I mean, I've done like I think the craziest I did was my solo 300 with like Moon's gear. I did like Eclipse and stuff, and I can definitely do more um, tombs. I really, really love that content because that was the first difficult content I learned. And well, actually Zora, to be honest, but and Zora's not difficult, I know, but I mean I'm stepping up from Barrows to Zora. You gotta, understand where I'm coming from here. Um, but yeah, I really, really like tombs because basically I went into it and I was like, all right, let's do this, and I got my ass kicked. I got my ass kicked so much. It's insane. Let's look right here. Look at this. 21 entries. And I was doing these entries because basically, I started with 0 and I just slowly started upping the invocations. And then I think I got to around like a 75-ish, and I was just kind of chilling with that. And then I slowly bumped it up to like 100, 110, 100, whatever. But it was funny because it was like the fourth entry I did, I think it was like a 75, and I got this Fang here, right? So since that fourth entry, I've done another like what? That's 20, like 17 entries, 75 normals, and 1 expert, and that's still my only purple. I'm not gonna complain. I'm not gonna complain, but because this thing saved my fucking ass. I'm not gonna lie. This thing I got it so early compared to everything else. This thing helped me get my questscape, bunch of stuff. This stuff was awesome. This thing was awesome at Warcraft. And then we look at the other raids. This is for the quest completion for the questscape, and then I'm gonna do this after 99 agility. I'm pretty sure, because Sync has made like a 4-hour video um, basically breaking everything down. And then he just made another one that's like a way to cheese it kind of. So I think I'm gonna do the cheese. and just get the diary completion, and then after that, I'll do what I did with Toa because this I gotta remember like this was the reason I think it's so awesome is that when it started, it was so much going on and everything, and I really felt like I couldn't do it. And then basically, I just kept chipping away at it and like little, just little things at a time. And eventually, it gets to the point where you don't even have to think about it because it's like scripted, kind of like the fight. So the stuff is like the same every time. So basically, you kind of like because you don't have to think about it, like the ceiling gets higher for like how you can play. You can bring more swaps. You could, it's awesome. So, but the thing is now, the I'm having a hard time like explaining, I guess. But I think the reason I really like it is that it helps me put things in perspective. Like whenever I try something new, dude, it can be like fucking Huey Kotal. Like it could be fucking anything, any boss. When it's new to me, I am atrocious. Like no pun intended with my name or whatever. I am fucking god awful, especially with Yama. Oh my god. But basically with persistence and keeping like an open mind for learning, right? Like being like accepting of the fact that I'm gonna get my ass kicked, but just try to learn what I can so that the next time I get my ass kicked a little less. And yeah, I mean it's really helped. It's really helped like eliminate some of the frustration that comes from trying new things. The one exception I'd say right now, as you can see, I'm 97 Jody and I'm still running rooftops, is Hollowed Sepulcher. I'm gonna give it another shot, but dude, floor five, I'm not gonna lie, it was like too intense for me. I couldn't handle it. It was like just too frustrating. But I did make a lot of prog. It's just I just didn't enjoy it. I'm not gonna lie. Even like the lower floors where I was able to do it relatively easily, like it wasn't like content I enjoyed, but I could see the value because I did feel like my movement and like my clicks were a little better. After learning a floor, like how to complete the floor or whatever. So I can see the value. Like if I was able to learn floor five, and get it down, I'm sure it would make other parts of the game easier to learn or to like, do because like those skills translate. Also, the Ring of Endurance would be cool, but it's not really like needed. But yeah, I mean, I haven't really done too many challenging things. I learned how to do like the door altar stuff at General Guardor. You can see my KC and stuff. And I think well, most people would say it, but yeah. So most people would say like CG, I think, but for me, it was definitely TOA. Like learning the monkey room and learning like the combat triangle, like having that ingrained in my fucking head now. Like I know that, oh, melee you want to mage that, and range you want to melee that, and mage you want to range that, like the rock paper scissors triangle, all of that shit. Being able like that in that monkey puzzle room was like a hyperbolic time chamber for me because of how many times I fucked that room up and like just I get it doesn't matter. Even now, like where it's easy, like I could do it no problem solo, and it's even easier in a group. That shit gives me PTSD. I still get flashbacks from how horrible I was at that room. But yeah, I think that learning some of this stuff there helped with learning CG, not directly, but because CG is like its own beast when it comes to prep time and uh, all that shit. But yeah, the next step up from TOA, I'd say, like when it came to my PVM journey, was definitely CG. Like I remember doing normal gauntlet, and then I did it a few times, and I was like, okay, yeah, yeah, let's try the corrupted gauntlet. I had perp in my ear saying mage range, training wheels, make it as easy. Oh my god. I couldn't even do T1 prep in time. Like I was just so awful. And then yeah, I got pretty discouraged, I'm not gonna lie, from CG. So basically I was like, well, I'll just do the regular gauntlet because who knows, maybe I'll hit the fucking lotto. And yeah, you can do 110. And I'll just do all like the combat achievements and shit like that. And I'm sure like once I can do like perfect gauntlet and all the other achievements, it'll make doing CG like easy or easier. So yeah, that's basically what I was doing because it's like the same fight. It's just the stats are a little adjusted and then the prep is a little different in CG. And then every now and then like because CG I had to like really lock in for. I'm pretty sure I still have to lock in pretty hard, but um every now and then when I couldn't, like I was like eating or I just wanted to make progress towards Bofa or whatever, like I felt like doing a gauntlet, but like I couldn't like really lock in. I would just do regular because like that shit I could do like is cake. It was so easy. I know it's not efficient, but again, whatever. Who cares? I'm just doing what I want to do. But yeah, I got lucky. I spooned Bofa at like 192, and I already had all my 6 seeds. So I'm not gonna lie, I got off easy. I know people have to do like 4 times what I had to do. But yeah, so I took that and then I was like doing some door altar and I could do it, no problem. But what I realized is that it's kind of like too much effort for like I didn't really value the intensity of that method. So instead, I because I have a DFS, I have a Dragonfire Shield, it has really good tank stats, but also it has 7 melee strength. So it's kind of like you can kind of use it to melee stuff, right? Um, because it can give you like 2 max hits almost. Um, I was just doing melee Grardor, and it sounds awful, but you saw I have Fang, right? DFS. You bring some magic resist because I'm not good enough to flick the minions, or well, I wasn't at the time. I'm not now, but I think I could learn. I can learn to flick the mage minion probably. Um, but yeah, I basically just meleeed him, and I could do 10 to like 20 kill trips with melee, which is you don't really hear people talking about, but I mean, I guess I'm max, combat really, so it's not like that crazy, but basically you do like a 2-1 kind of method where you want to hit him twice for every time he hits you once, which you can do. It's just kind of awkward with the Fang a little bit. And then also, um, oh, actually, what really changed it was that um, yeah, the first like 100 KC was all melee. It was free Bofa. And then I think I even had like a Slayer task or something, and I got tacits on that, so that was pretty cool. I had tacits for a bit, like without ever really doing that much Grardor. And then after I got the Bofa, I went back and I was like, or actually no 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 no. Before I got the Bofa, it was like around Christmas. I was doing because I got Bofa in January, so this year has been like a huge acceleration. But around Christmas time is when I got my Dragon Warhammer. I wonder if I can pull up how many. I don't think it'll. I don't know if it's like, because I don't think Blizzard Shamans are. Uh, I don't know. I don't fucking know. But basically, I think it was like 6K KC or something. So I went like twice the rate, but I did like the first 4K normally, and then I ran out of scales and fucking whatever. So I just started red Xing. I had like an alt and just red Xed it in the canyon, and eventually I got it. But yeah, after I got the hammer, that's what really made me want to do Grardor again. So even before I got the Bofa, I did some hammer, like Grardor, and I got him to I would do like probably like 5 kill trips then, because I still wasn't really, I didn't really have, well, I wasn't really that good. And I didn't really understand like the 2-1 thing that I'm talking about. I was kind of more doing like a 1-1. Like every time I hit him, he hit me. Because I didn't have like my controls set up right, like to shift click under him and stuff like that. So I would fuck up stepping under all the time. But yeah, after I got the Bofa, my clicks there got a lot better because you have to click, perfectly to do the door altar and all that shit. So, yeah, and then basically I realized, do I really want to do door altar where I have to like fucking lock in, or can I just like beat the shit out of him on melee? Oh, and part of being able to stay was having ancients and then switching and then using blood spells on oh, and part of that too. So not just using blood spells, but dragging the melee minion, which is going to be on you, he's just going to keep chasing you, onto the range minion or onto the mage minion. Was it the mage or the range? No, it was the range. Yeah, 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 the range. Because not the mage. That would be dumb. But yeah, so you're hitting the melee and the range minion at the same time with blood barrage, right? So you can heal, and then you just pray magic because in that uh, setup, I think mage is the most accurate. I have to double check, but yeah. So basically, you just do that, and then you should heal up to full, and then you just kill the major, and then boom, you're ready for Carter. So this kind of went on longer than I thought it would go, and but it's helping me do agility. So can you blame me? Um, and there's so much more I want to talk about, but I kind of just want to get some of my thoughts out there because I feel like it would be like fascinating, like in the future, kind of like looking back at like, damn, I thought I was the shit, and I still suck. No, but I know I still suck. I'm nowhere near good at this game. You can see that Zuck Casey. It still says 0. There's no reason for it to be 0. I have Bofa. I should be in there. I have prayer regen pots. I should be in there. There's no reason for me to not have it. It's just me being a bitch and me thinking, oh, I can't do it, all this dumb shit, right? I need to go in there and do it. But for now, what I'm really honed in on is, finishing this up, the maxing, right? Um, and then we're base 95, so we're pretty close. It's only 6 skills, and one of them's construction. This is gonna take like one day to pump out 99 or whatever. But yeah, I just want to get my thoughts out there because after I max, where I'm going from here, there's not. I keep thinking there's not much left, but really these are like the big dense parts of the game. I'm gonna, take on the Coliseum, take on the Inferno, and then, once those are conquered, I'm gonna work on my combat achievements because I'm still only at the hard tier, and I think is it this? I'm stupid. It's this. Yeah, I'm like 180 points from elite, and I've never even killed Scurious. So, uh, you know, I can there's tons and tons of tasks I can do, and I'll just work on getting a GM, but and doing a bunch of raids and all that. So like this game still has a lot of depth left for me to go into. And the other thing is I'm planning on editing a video of like kind of like my journey to max. So uh, I mean, I don't think anyone's gonna be watching at this point, but yeah, I'm probably gonna have like a video of put together of oh, it's not really gonna be like that crazy, but it's just gonna be a lot of screenshots of like my levels up. It's gonna be kind of like just my progress from the very beginning to max. And I do have a lot of random videos I made of like first time killing Abyssal Sire and killing or getting perfect CG. I remember getting that recorded, and random stuff like that might be sprinkled in, but it's gonna be primarily just screenshots. So this is just a little ramble, and like it helped me do agility, so can't blame me. And I'm sure I missed a lot of things, but hopefully someone found this kind of interesting. I don't know. All right.